Good afternoon, my car enthusiast peeps. It's your boy, that 60s kid with toys, Mr. Anthony. I know it's been a minute since I posted a video, and my apologies to you. Life just started lifing. Now what I have here, and I really don't want to do this, is some touch-up paint. You see, your boy originally did a chromedelete back in the day during COVID. I was bored one day and I was sitting around the house just looking for something to do. I stumbled upon a video of another content creator who was doing a chromedelete, who was matting out his trim and everything, and that's what I decided to do. Back then, I did it by hand, and then as a blessing, I got into an accident. The body shop that I took it to recognized what I was trying to do, because it kind of looked, like a DIY special. So the guy recognized what I was trying to do with the blue trim and matting out the chrome, and he asked me for like a nominal fee if I'd like him to hook it up for me, and that he did. So the calipers have all been blued out, the trim is all done in matte black, my badges look tight. I had the guy paint my hood over again. It's been getting dinged. I mean, what are we gonna do, right? We have to get out and go to work every day. The badges on the front, they're kind of hurting a little bit. This is a daily driver, right? So I go down the road, I drive on the interstate, and it's been getting dinged. Now, I don't really want to do this because this is going back to the DIY days. But my man has been very, very busy lately. His shop is blown up. He does a lot of custom work, man. And I'm going to link his shop in the description. It's Cosmic Collision in Charlotte, North Carolina, man. They do fabulous work. But until I can claim a spot, I got no choice but to go ahead and tighten my thing back up as best I can. So here, I bought some paint and I'm trying to match it as best as possible to what they used, and it may not be an exact match, but since the badges and the rings won't actually be butted up against each other, you'll see a subtle difference, especially in the quality of the paint too. But hopefully I can tighten it up using touch-up just to bridge me until I can get that appointment. So folks, without further ado. Okay, so I have my jack already under here. I'm gonna jack it up in the air. And when you're doing work that requires you to work under your car, always use jack stands. If you don't have jack stands, take your wheel off and lay it flat somewhere so that if you ever have a failure of a jack stand or your hydraulic jack, you're protecting yourself. Oh my goodness. Oh, a cicada. I hope that came out on video. A cicada killer just killed off a cicada. Wow. Wow, he ate his head off. I don't know where they came from. They must have been doing the duty in my wheel well here. Well, I'm racing against the rain. I mean, not in any rush. So I can do this at my leisure at any time. I like to just get this assembled before it rains though. So here, I'm just, sorry about that. I'm just removing these 10mm bolts from these splash guards here. And there's 10mm bolts all throughout here that I'm going to have to remove, and that's in order to get to the back of the grills. And I installed LED lights in the grill, so I got to detach those. So it's a little bit of work, but nothing over the top. I'm not sure what's in the shot and what isn't. Hopefully this is. There was a time when I remembered, because I used to work on this Camry and my 11 Camry, I used to know where every single bolt was.
but I haven't been down here in a while, so just feeling my way around. I think there's 1/2 inch back there I got to grab as well. And it's my wiring for my LEDs, so I have to tighten those up. So hopefully this is in the shot. To undo my fog light here. Okay, undo my fog light. Alright. And there should be a screw, here it is on the top. Okay, and this screw is the only screw that holds it in. It's one screw and then a bunch of clips that holds the lamp in, the lamp assembly. So, and I've yet to ever take these off, but I think these clips just pop. Yeah, you just press these clips, I hope it's in the shot, and that's what reduces this ring. Maybe one at the top here. Yep. There we go. Should be coming out. Oh, this is all one big assembly. I thought these were separate. I thought the grill and the light assembly were separate, but maybe they are with the screw. Okay, so there's a little screw right here. It's interesting engineering. How are you supposed to get that out? I'm not sure if you guys are seeing what I'm dealing with there. You know, that cicada killer just flew inside here. He must have made my car its home. There we go. I keep everything in my can. Okay. All right, and then there's more tabs on the grill here. I don't know if they're in the shot. Oh, there's another screw on the outside. Darn it. Make sure I get all the tabs while we're out here. Okay. All right, I'm gonna swing you guys. Just make sure I get all the tabs loose. That's a screw. That's a screw. Okay, here we go. Oh, did I push it back in? Ow, ow. Okay. Alright. And we still have a hex or Allen, whatever that you want to call that, holding it in. But yeah, this is what we're going to be working on. I'm going to pull these off. Okay. And then I think this is black. So I was doing a chrome delete back in the day. So this would have been the only part that's chrome. And if I turn it over, you can see it's held together. It's held in place by clips and screws and stuff like that. So we're gonna pop these two pieces off and then touch them up and then put them back in. Got to get a narrow flathead and pop these clips back, and that'll release this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spare you the details. I'm not going to go through the whole disassembly part on the passenger side. We'll just pick up when I'm about to do the touch-up painting. Alrighty, folks. So it was a little work getting these off, but nothing I couldn't overcome. So I'm not going to go crazy and do the whole sanding these down and all that. Like I said, once I'm able to get into, get the car into the shop, they're gonna do it, the quote unquote right way. So for now, this is just a touch up, just to get me by until I'm able to get in the shop, and that's it. So I still have to wipe them down yet, right? So I'm not gonna sand them, and I'm just giving them a nice dose of alcohol and just get whatever lingering contaminants off. And I apologize about my car. Like, if you guys knew me in person, you'd know that I am a clean car head. But it has been raining every day, every other day. So I got to the point where I'm just like, if I don't at least get 48 hours of no rainfall, I'm not washing it. So the car is not looking up to my standards. Very windy. Calm down for a second. Not bad. Close. I mean, I don't like it as much as I like their paint. Let me bring you guys in. But it's a close, as far as matching, it's close. And what I may do is come back after the third, coating. Might just hit it with a little clear coat, maybe shine it up. Alrighty, I'm gonna go water my plants and see. I think this is half-hour paint. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Good Lord. You young people, God bless you. 10 minutes between each coat. Okay. So I'm in no rush. I'm gonna give it about a halfie. And come back and we'll do another coat, and then I may wait for this. Matter of fact, I will wait 24 hours for this to cure before I do the clear coat. And also I have to flip these over and get the bottom part. So what I'm gonna do is just spray this, and I'm gonna bring this setup in the garage and put it on the, just put it in front of the shop fan. And then it's because number one, the rain, and then number two, it's very humid out. So I just want to make sure this paint gets set, especially before I flip them to do the other side. I don't want to flip them. I don't want to flip them and then all of a sudden have this sticking and then I have a mess because it didn't cure properly. All right, and it's going to take this whole setup and bring it in the garage and set it up under the shop fan.
So when we got in last night, I examined the trim rings here as they were curing, and I noticed that the chips in them were really, really exaggerated while the paint was curing. So, I mean, again, I'm not trying to do a body shop job by any means, but I just wanted to clean that up a little. So I apologize, it was off camera. I didn't do it on camera, but I gave them kind of a light sand. So today I'm going to put another 2 coats on top of these, and then these as well as the flat pieces. So later today, after these cure, just going to hit them with a little clear coat and hopefully get this buttoned up. So this one is, I can't win. This one is spraying clear, so we're gonna have to run out and get it replaced. So guys, I'm doing a voiceover right here because I didn't realize that my mic was not on. So what I'm saying here in this part of the video is when I went out to buy more paint to replace the defective can that was spraying clear, I found paint that was actually a better color than the paint I originally chose. But the joke's on me. You'll see it later. It's kind of a funny thing. And that's what segued into the name of this video being, you know, chromedelete gone wrong. I'm not exactly happy with this color. As you can see, the swatch is almost a teal. See, it's almost like a teal, and that's almost like a regal blue. Just a little bit darker than what I started with. So, oh well, I'm just going to keep moving forward because I'm too far into it now to worry about it. You know, I got to get the car back roadworthy so I can get things done, get to work, etc., etc. Just going to finish off this last coat. This just in, if you have a product that you buy off the shelf, read directions. I contacted Duplicolor to discuss my concern between the sample on the can and the actual color that comes out. And they asked me a few questions, some leading questions. One of the questions they asked me is, did I paint over an existing painted surface? I said yes. This product is specifically meant to go over chrome and metallic finishes. If I were to take this product, which I did, and use it to paint over a painted finish, it's going to have, they use some kind of paint terminology, but it's going to take on some of the characteristics of the color that's in it already. So the fix for this is 2 things. I could either do this all over again using a chrome base coat, which I'm not going to do, and then put this on top, or I can simply just buy the correct paint that's made to be painted over existing painted surfaces. That is what I'm going to do. If I could just find this in a painted color, I'm actually going to buy this. This is actually close to the professional trim finish that I had done originally. So what I'm going to do now, and I'm not going to bring you guys along, is I'm going to button the car back up. I'm going to reinstall these trim pieces, get the car back roadworthy, and this is going to look different from the medallion in the front that's like almost this color. So that's going to drive me crazy. But I'm going to buy the correct paint. I am going to wait till a milder day when it's not oppressively hot out here. I'm going to rip the whole thing apart and do it over again the right way. And when I do that, I'm going to do some better sanding and get things as smooth as possible. Maybe put on a primer coat or whatever. Who knows? My guys at the original body shop may even contact me in the interim to get it done professionally. But you know what? This is at a substantial cost savings, so I might just keep going with this. It's a daily driver. It's not quite a beater, but you know, it's nice to have it looking good, but at the same token, you know, it can't wreck my wallet at the same time. So, all right, folks, so what I'm gonna do is button up the car. We're expecting some inclement or stormy weather, so the reveal may be later today, or it may be a few days from now. And if it's a few days from now, that'll give me an opportunity to finally clean the car and let you guys see the car shined up and at its best. So this has got to be the longest small project I've ever done. So what I'm gonna do with you guys is I'm gonna go ahead and prime this, okay? And then by priming it, I can put 2 layers of primer on it, and primer is sandable, and I'll be able to sand out those original dings which caused this mess. And then I bought a color that closer matches what I'm looking for, and then we're going to put 2 coats on that, hopefully button this up. Oh, the panels that these are attached to in the car, they're looking like they need a little love. So while I have them taken out, I think I'm going to hit them with either I think I have some matte or some engine gloss. I'm gonna hit them with that engine gloss. I'm kind of hoping I like it. It has like a matte look now. We'll have to see. You know, we could always come back and fix things. So while I have those panels pulled off, I'm going to spray them, touch them up as well, without further ado. And then also I reassembled the car, right? Because, you know, gotta do things, gotta go to work. So I noticed in reassembling that one of my LEDs in those panels blown out too. So while this is curing, drying, I'm gonna run out and get an LED strip for the driver's side panel. We'll tighten it all up together. The wind is both helping and hurting at the same time. All right, so I'm going to do 3 or 4 coats, and it calls for 10 minutes of drying in between. So what I'm gonna do is take this setup, I'm gonna put it under the shop fan in the garage, let it dry for like 15 in between, and then we'll go from there. So these are the grill slash panel slash eyelets that go in the under the air dam in the front of the car. So as you can see, I already have an LED on this right passenger side one. So I'm going to cover this with painter's tape because I want to do a nice touch up on it. As you can see, it's kind of a little just weather beaten. I already had this engine enamel laying around for another project. When I tricked out the vehicle, I actually taped up all the underbody of the car. And I'm so anal, right? I actually went under there and sprayed the entire exhaust system, like the muffler, the tailpipe, just everything underneath that's visible from, you know, the road or around me. I just taped everything off under there and just sprayed everything. So there was no chrome because the tail light was still chrome and the muffler had that, like, you know, whatever that metallic look to it. So I just wanted the entire underbody to appear black, you know, to the naked eye. So anyway, we're going to get this painted up, and like I said, I'm going to tape this up so I don't end up painting over the LED. And I bought a new LED. I think I mentioned that in the previous segment because the LED on the driver's side burned out. I shorted it out in actuality, putting this back together for my temporary driving solution. So I had a
a wire that wasn't properly crimped, and they ended up touching each other, and it caused the the driver's side to short out. So it happens. So again, I'm just gonna try to keep you guys in a shot. Just want to protect the LED here from the paint spray. This doesn't have to be anything perfect. Nobody's going to be actually bending over and looking down to see how well I take this off. Now, I'm not a big fan of this gloss look. Just, I don't want it to look all gloss uniform like the paint of the car and then this gloss here. But I want this to look better, so that's my compromise with myself. Just want to get that corner. There you go. Just want to get that corner. In this panel here, you can see there's like glue all gobbed up in here. I put the first set of LEDs on there, and the adhesive wasn't strong enough, so it fell off. So I actually bought 3M body type glue that you use to glue on like your chrome strips and stuff like that. It's professional series. And I just put little dabs of it on the LED strip to make it hold on to this, rubbery plastic type thing. So I'll be doing that again as well. Seems like no matter where I put the camera, the wind's gonna blow at the camera. Go on here, I may have to do a little sanding on this. Let it dry and do a little sanding. I might have to prime this too. Wow. And we're gonna put these under the fan also. So this is the finished product. As you saw, I sprayed them 3 or 4 times. I put them under the shop fan, and then I left them out in the sun for a good hour. So the instructions on the can says to sand these down using a 320 grit. This is a 600 grit. I'm not going to go out and buy 300 just for this project. For those who don't know, the numbers on the grit mean how much friction, how much sand is in the sandpaper. So a 300 grit is more coarse than 600. 600 is more fine. So if you have instructions that say to use, let's say in my instance, a 300, and you decide to go with a 600, you're just giving yourself a little leeway for any errors or inconsistency in your sanding. So now if I were to only have 200 grit, then I'd be going in too coarse, too hard. So this gives me a little forgiveness, and I'm going to address this here. I don't know if this is in the camera. See this cracking here? This came out with the original painting that I did, so I want to kind of get that out as well. Not that anyone's going to bend down and look for it, but I'm just that kind of perfectionist. So just going to do a light sand, nothing too crazy. And these rings were my real culprit. It wasn't these strips here, it was these rings. I could actually see when I painted them, the little chips were so exposed. I was almost embarrassed, just knowing I could do a better job than that. That's what I found embarrassing. Now, one of these had like a really big noticeable chip in it, man. And the fact that I can't even tell right now is a good thing. I'm getting down to the nitty gritty on this sandpaper. I probably should have grabbed some more sheets, get the dust particles off. And you can feel any imperfections while you're doing this. Set these out the way. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the panels back out and hit them with another coat. And then we're going to paint these guys. So this is the blue that I settled on. It's very close
to the blue that I had professionally done by my boys up at Cosmic Collision. This color is called Bahama Blue Metallic, and it's a GM color. Just so happens to match what I'm trying to do. That comes out great. Oh, I'm liking that color too, guys. All right. I am feeling that. So I'm going to go ahead and put these under the shop fan. We're gonna come out for round 2 in about a halfie. So something funky is going on with the gloves, because the first few pairs on top are a lot harder to get on than the next set of pairs. So I don't know. They got your boy thinking I'm a big boy, but they had me thinking I was even bigger. So I'm going to put this under the fan, and then I'm going to flip these strips, hit them with 2 coats, and I'm just going to leave these to dry. I think the rings are ready. Then after the rings and the strips both dry, we'll do 1 light layer of the clear coat, let it cure overnight, reinstall it, and we're back in business, baby. I forgot to hit record just now. So in the segment that I just forgot to record, I flipped these over and I sprayed the bottoms. I mentioned that I left the rings up front because it's a super hot day here, man. So I left the rings up front along with the panels on the driveway to just bake in the sun, similar to what, you know, the baking process is in a body shop, because it's like almost 100 degrees. They're sitting on the pavement on some cardboard. So, you know, they're getting a nice bake in. I'm going to go ahead and put these under the shop fan, let this spray cure for 30 minutes. Gonna do 1 final coat. Gonna do a light coat of clear on both the rings and these trim pieces. And either later tonight or first thing in the morning, we're going to reinstall the panels, the trim work, and the car is really looking good. I have to say, I'm proud of myself because I washed the car. It was like, you know, I mentioned in one of the segments, we've been getting storms like every single afternoon. So it's kind of hard. I like to get my miles out of washing my car, so it's kind of hard. So I did one of those 20-minute car washes, and let me tell you something. It's probably, I don't know if I'm thinking it's because the car is like, it was really dirty, but it's one of the best car washes. I don't know. The car's been dirty for a long time, so maybe it's just my imagination. But the car looks good when it's polished up and, you know, cleaned anyway. But it looks good. Anyway, we're going to pick this up in the next segment. Alrighty, had to find some shade, boy. It's warm out here today. So this is going to be the final coat before we go to clear coat. And before this is over, I'm gonna tip you guys onto another project that's similar to this. I think it's gonna come out really hot. I'm gonna show you guys what I plan on doing. Final coat, and then we're gonna move to the clear coat. Yeah, that's looking darn good. Oh, I like the way I don't know if that's coming out on camera, but it's giving it a nice little dark effect. I'm gonna throw these under the fan, then I'm gonna leave these out in the heat, the rings. I'm gonna flip these and put a clear coat on the bottom side of these. I'm gonna let it cure overnight, and then we'll do the installation. But for now, we're just gonna throw it under the fan again. So what's going on, peeps? I'm kind of in limbo mode here. This is one of the finished panels that I sprayed the other day. Came out pretty nice. I'm not so certain about the glossy look. I won't know until I get it back on the car, but I'm not really sure if I'm feeling this. because the car is already clear coated, and this had like a previously had like a matted finish. So we'll see how it looks once we put it back together. So I'm in limbo mode because when I went to reassemble all the panels, I found out that the LED on the driver's side panel had burned out. So I went to the auto parts store. I tried to find LEDs to replace them. They all were like, I didn't even know these existed. They were all like these programmable ones and had colors and all that. I just want a simple white LED strip, nothing fancy. I don't need it to change colors and all that stuff. I was able to find some on Amazon, so that shipment's due here tomorrow. So in the interim, what I'm going to do is just go ahead and put my pieces, reassemble my pieces back on. I don't know if this is the right one or not. Okay, reassemble my pieces back on, and then I'll feel better because I got something done today. Okay, and we'll just do this together until the shipment comes in, and we'll put it all back together, look at the car. I think I said in the previous segment, it's clean now. Well, it was clean back then, but you know, the car's been in and out of the garage, piling, yada, yada, yada. So I just wanted to segue this because while I'm reattaching everything, I'm going to turn the fan on because it is like sweltering here. So I didn't want all that noise to come through across the mic. So, all right, folks, without further ado. Now, I don't know if you guys could actually tell on that last segment, I was gently pressing this and the clips broke. So I guess over the years, they just get brittle. You know, it's a 14. So, you know, it's 11, 12 years old. So I'm going to have to use a little of my 3M glue on here. Not a problem. Just the next time I have to do this, I'll just have to buy some more rings. All right, these are them. And like I said, that super glue won't allow this to go anywhere. You only need a few drops. So the LED strips should come in sometime during the day tomorrow. I was going to say I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, but who knows what time of the day Amazon will deliver them. Once they're here, we'll reassemble this together, put them back on the car, test the LED lights. I'm kind of curious about the LED lights as well, because when the new ones come in tomorrow, I want to make sure that the light level looks the same between this one and the new one. If it doesn't, I'll have to rip this one off and then reapply a new one on here so they'll match up, you know, look as less janky as possible, right? So, all right, folks, see you tomorrow. All right, my peeps. It's very late in the afternoon the next day, and the replacement lights did come in. And I'll have to tell you something. I usually knock, you know, brands out of China because of how flimsy they are. But you know, these are both Chinese brands. This new Chinese brand that came in today is a lot more sturdy, a lot more rugged than this Chinese brand that I bought at an auto parts store. So all that's left is to compare this new one as far as the quality of the light to the original one that's already installed on this panel. And I'm already thinking this one's going to have to come off, right? We'll see how it looks. So I wanted to just provide you guys with a little context before I turn the fan on, because man, lordy, it's hot in here today. Plus the flies are all over me. So what I'm going to do is jack up the front end. I'm going to get down there and meter the connection that these were tied into, and we'll do a light comparison to see, you know, to see how much the lights differ, or can I tolerate it, and we'll take it from there. Okay, guys, again, sorry for the wind noise, the fan noise. I have to have the fan on today due to the very, very warm weather. So what I'm going to do is, what I have to do is meter this connection. This is the connection that tied in the LEDs. And once we, let me put my hand over the fan. Once we find the polarity, the negative and positive, we'll tie in the new LED to the existing LED, test for brightness, see if they're consistent, and if it's acceptable, if there's any difference. All right. So we're going to hook up our meter here. Okay. Yeah, take this guy. All right. There's one with a white stripe here, and one without. So I'm pretty sure the one with the white stripe would have been the positive, or is the positive. All right. And we'll just go ahead and turn the light switch on. Oh, I got it on AC volts. Very important. Test with volts DC. Direct current is for automobiles. AC is for household and commercial electronics. All right, so the polarity, the white stripe is the positive on here. So this is the existing light. And we grab a new light. And you wonder why I'm using these scissors. Anyone that's been in telecom that is watching this video, you know what this is all about. For those who don't know, telecom techs always use electrician's scissors, can't say it, for almost everything. That's down to 18 gauge cable. That's for making Cat5 wires for computers and wires in the data centers and stuff like that. All right, so I'm assuming on this original panel, oh, that's right, I painted over them. Oh, I can't even distinguish which one is white now because I painted over the entire wire. Okay, interesting. We'll just have to figure that out. And there's only really one way to find this out right now, right? Because unless I could find the polarity on this, let me see. Yeah, there's no striping on here. I painted over all of it. So I'm just going to have to just twist these on here. And if I burn them out, I got a backup plan, right? Pull that apart. All right, let's try this again. Okay, so that's that. I don't know if it's coming out. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Okay, so that's the passenger side panel light. So we're going to tie this one in and see if there's any difference in the lighting there. Okay, so we said the white stripe is positive. Keep them really far apart. So we're gonna push right across them. Okay, I'm gonna just lay that guy right in there with him. Let's see what we got. They're close. They're about the same. Okay. All right. That is totally acceptable to me. Nothing left to do but to just get them hooked up. Now, one thing I noticed when I installed the previous set of lights is that this panel is shorter than that panel. I haven't undone it yet. So what I ended up having to do is cut the strip, because these light strips are modifiable. You can modify them, if you cut them on the right seam, you actually make a contact. I'll show you that in a few moments, because that light strip, or this panel, is shorter than the passenger side panel. So we have to modify the lights to compensate for that. So the previous setup, I cut the lights down, and then I had just a little piece over here, just ever so slightly, just dangling past this panel. If I didn't point it out to a person, they would never even notice it. So if you look closely where these contacts are, those are the areas or the stripes that they have to be cut on to make that contact complete. So I would say about I'm torn, because that one, that looks too short. Like this contact looks like, I guess I can do that right there. You take a pair of shears and you cut along that contact, it should make a seal. Then you take this cap and you put that cap right there. We just measure twice, cut once, right? I don't know. I'm gonna cut on this one here that's further down, because I'm thinking that little flap be unnoticeable there. Okay, so then I cut that, and then now this should be a cap. Take this cap off. Okay, so that cap will now go on this end to form a watertight seal. Okay, so then that forms the seal. Now the reason I have these gloves on is when I originally did this, the light strips fell out. So I used the same 3M glue that I used earlier for the badges or the ring actually I bought the glue just for this job. So I glued these on using that 3M glue. That's what I'm gonna do with you now. This glue has been through a lot, man. I've had to poke holes in the side to get stuff out. I just didn't work it properly over the years, but still got some left, and it's working. So, oh, you know what? Let's make sure this works before we do all this. Don't want to go jumping the gun, then have to pull everything apart again. All right. And I did not like the way I originally had this hooked up. When I installed this before, I was having back trouble, and I just kind of jerry-rigged the wiring just to get it working, and I always meant to go back and correct that. And then I don't have a heat shrink because I don't do as much of this work as I used to do anymore, and I handed it down to a young man who ended up being ungrateful. And I don't have a heat shrink, so I'll use butt connectors and I'll tape it up as best as possible. But it lasted, man, these LEDs have been on here for at least 6 or 8 years, and it lasted with that little janky setup I had. So I'm sure it'll work better now. All right. Cool. So now we will glue this guy onto this panel. We'll be good to go. See how it hangs over a little? That's fine. Like I said in the previous segment about this 3M glue, it is the real deal. So I won't need much. A couple dabs along the strip here. Okay, let's make sure I orient it right. Put the wire going the correct direction. Okay. And to the naked eye, that little overhang is going to be unnoticeable. Drop the wire through here. Okay. Probably use the wire for leverage across this one. I'll do that. See what I'm doing there? Like that. Then use the wire for leverage right across that little opening there. And just make sure before I make my next statement. I guess now we'll just be installing these back on and then doing a walkabout. So I have a story that some of you may find interesting about this mod I did on my car. I had an 11 Camry. Coincidentally, I like the model of the 11 Camry a lot better than the 14. And I originally had blue lights in the air dams, and it had a really cool look to it. And we were at the time we were living in New York, and I was driving around for years with those, and then I put the blue lights in this guy, and we were, I was driving around, New York with no problem, and then we moved down here. So one day I'm just driving, thinking I'm looking cool, just driving up the road, and all of a sudden, weep. Trooper pulls me over, and he gets out the car and he says, "You know why I pulled you over?" And I'm like, "Nope, no idea. I was going the speed limit." I had my phone on my hands-free cradle in the car, and coincidentally, please do not drive distracted. I just can't emphasize that enough. Anyway, so he says, "You have blue lights on your car," and I was like, "Yeah," I was proud of it. I thought he was pulling me over to compliment me. And he said, "That's illegal down here," and he recognized a slight New York accent, and he asked me where I was from, and I said New York, and he said, "Blue lights are illegal here. They're only for emergency vehicles, police, law enforcement or whatever." So he gave me a warning ticket. So how could he give me a warning ticket? No, he gave me a ticket, and I think it was over $300. So I had to go to court, and I was out of town. I was way visiting a relative's house in another part of South Carolina when I got that ticket. So I had to go to court. I had to pull the lights off, and I had to go to court and prove to the court that I pulled the lights off, and they waived the ticket, yada, yada, yada. So no blue lights in the South. It's not a thing up in the North, but it's a thing down here. Get the tabs straight where you pop them back in there. I don't know if this is coming out on the camera. I'm not sure if I'm liking this high gloss in here. We shall see. Okay, and one important thing for you guys, if you haven't done stuff like this before, just check everything. So what I'm gonna do is just make sure that I didn't, I've been throwing these lights in this can as I've been working, just make sure I didn't, break a bulb. All right. So I tried to set up a shot where I can show you guys how to reassemble the fog light. But then I ended up somehow or another shutting down the camera, and I didn't want to undo my gloves and do it all over. And it's relatively easy when you put the light in. I'm going to do the other side. But when you put the light in, there's 2 brackets that these slide into, and you got to put it in like on an angle. And then there's this screw you just attach it to. So if you ever need to do it, there's a lot of videos on how to do these. So I don't even know if this is it in the shot. So I was saying I'm running this wire, this lead from over here in this, I called it a conduit, but there's a term in the electronic automotive field for this material. All right. Is it pretty? No. Is it effective? Yes. So before I button up the bottom, I'm just going to do another sanity check on the lights, because when I buttoned this up last time in the middle of doing this, I shorted out the light and didn't realize I'm driving around like that. So okay, lights are working. So at this point, I'm going to turn the fan back on because, oh my God, it's hot. I'm going to put the splash guards on the bottom of the car. Then thereafter, time permitting, I'll pull it out. We'll do a walk around together, and I'll tip you guys in on the project that I'm thinking about doing next after this. I'm really excited about it. So stand by. Good morning, my peeps. As you can see, it is done. This is the finished product. I was going to try to do this reveal last night, but man, it was so hot in that garage, it wasted me. So yes, this is how the daily driver Black Beast is looking today. What do y'all think? Looking nice. Okay, I want to talk to you guys about the tees. You see the ground effects kit here? My next project is the bottom of this skirt. The bottom. Not this entire side, but the bottom of this skirt down here, taping this top edge off and painting that same blue color. And then when we come here, there's like, I don't know if it's coming out in the video, it comes up and there, and just make that the blue, and then the back half of that the blue. That's going to be hot. That's going to be hot. And of course, I'm going to bring you guys in. So peeps, that's it. This is the end of my chromedelete edit mod. I am so glad that I was able to find some paint right off the shelf that closely matches the custom paint my boys at the body shop Cosmic Collision, Charlotte, North Carolina. The paint off the shelf is quite good, I have to admit. The tint is very close to what they have. It doesn't have that deep metallic look to it, man, but I tell you, you have to walk up to it and actually examine it to see there's a difference. Thanks for coming along with me. I appreciate having you guys along this ride. It was like very interesting. I honestly thought this project was going to be maybe an hour or two. It turned out to be a few days with the heat and the matching paint and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I am happy with the outcome. If you haven't done so already, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. It's motivating me to put out more and more content, and I appreciate the engagement with you guys. I am that 60s kid with toys, the OG from the 803. My actual name is Martin from South Carolina. I'm gonna dial you guys up during the next mod on the kit, and I'll see you in the next one.